Chapter 2 Old Friends Part 1 Mecha and Luna had walked all night, and were standing in front of the library, waiting for Princess Celestia to get back from raising the sun in the central square. Taking one last look at Mecha, Luna said, "Thou hast been good company. Mayhaps we could do this again, if thou comes up to Canterlot sometime." Taking one last look at her, Mecha replied, "That would be enjoyable, should I ever come up to Canterlot. Until then, though, perhaps letters would suffice?" Smiling, her reply was, "That will in fact suffice. I shall send mine with my sister's letters to her pupil, to get to thou." At this, Mecha nodded his head, before heading to his aunt's house. Having gotten breakfast with his aunt, Mecha was wandering around Ponyville, looking for the answer to a problem he realized he had during breakfast. Namely, the lack of a job or cash. Granted, he would probably get paid for his time in hell, but still, at the moment, he had nothing. Walking past Sweet Apple Acres, Mecha stopped. Looking at the sign, Mecha wondered if this was the same Sweet Apple Acres his old friend worked on. Well, Mecha thought, only one way to find out. Walking up the path, Mecha came across a tall pony, and blinking asked, "Big Macintosh?" Turning around, Big Macintosh just blinked at the sight in front of him. Realizing it was in fact the pony he thought it was, Mecha laughed and said, "Man, it's been a long time since I've seen you. You look great, man. Been holding up well?" Still blinking, the situation slowly made sense to Big Macintosh, who began to smile and said, "Yup." Laughing some more, Mecha continued, "Still a pony of few words, eh? Anyways, as much fun as it would be to catch up with you, I'm in a bit of a pickle. See, I've essentially moved into town, but I lack a job and cash. Now, the cash thing shouldn't be a problem soon, but at the moment, I'm basically living off my aunt's charity. So I was wondering if you had a couple of jobs I could do until I get sorted out." Taking a long look at his old friend, Big Macintosh replied, "I do have some work that needs to be done, and having you along will help speed things up. So sure, will 5 bits an hour work?" Releasing the tension that had been in him since he realized his predicament, Mecha stated, "Sure, only really need some spare change at the moment. That would be perfect. So, what do you need me to do?" Merely turning, Big Macintosh pointed out to the fields and stated, "Buck all these trees." Seeing the sheer size of the fields, Mecha sighed and said, "Of course." It was lunchtime, and Mecha was chatting with Big Macintosh, catching up on new times, as well as laughing at some old times. "I still can't believe there you are, barely out of your colt years, and those mares were flirting with you like there was no tomorrow. Not to mention the fact that every stallion was staring at you with envy." Laughing, Big Macintosh replied, "Don't forget how angry they were when we beat them." "Ah, good times," Mecha said. It was at this point that a flyer came through, being blown straight into Mecha's face. "Ah, what is this?" he yelled, pulling it off and setting it on the table. What it was a flyer for the upcoming Renaissance Fair, including a tournament with the grand prize of tickets to the Grand Galloping Gala. "Huh, what do you know?" Mecha said it had been a while since he'd done anything fun. Not to mention, tickets to the gala could fetch a good price should he choose not to go. "Hey, Big Macintosh, you got anything planned next week?" Mecha inquired. Nope," was Big Macintosh's typical negative response. "Want to hit up the fair for old time's sake?" Mecha proposed. "Yup," Big Macintosh replied, a grin stretching across his face. "Good," Mecha started. "Although, I think our original costumes might need a few minor adjustments. Not to mention the blades." "Welcome, fillies and gentlecolts, to the unnumbered Renaissance Fair Tournament!" screamed Hayek, the brown earth pony hosting the event. As you know, this tournament is meant to honor the knights and soldiers who fell during the establishment of our nation. Thus, our competitors will be fighting with a spell that lets them fight without limits. For those of you who don't know how it works, basically, to sum up the spell, you get hit by a sword, it merely feels like your hoof got cut off. Nothing more! While the cheering was going on, the main six were talking in the stands, mostly discussing the tournament that was about to occur. I'm so excited, Twilight Sparkle stated. I get to see this impressive piece of magic at work. Are you kidding? Rainbow Dash exclaimed. This is one of the best competitions of the year. The only way it could be any better would be if I could compete. Yes, well, it is highly competitive, Fluttershy muttered to herself, not really wanting to be there. Yeah, well, it's too bad Big Macintosh couldn't make it, though. He normally loves this kind of stuff, Applejack said. Yeah, where is that giant hunky stallion? Rarity asked. Now hold on an apple bucking minute, Applejack started. Don't talk about my brother that way. Oh, calm down, AJ. Rarity is just saying what passes through almost every mare's mind when they see him. Not to mention the occasional stallion, Pinkie Pie interjected, trying to avoid an argument. Ugh, I did not need that image in my head, Applejack stated. To be honest, though, I don't know where he is. Although he told me this morning was that he was going to hang out with that pony who came into town recently. What's his name? Ooh, do you mean Mecca? Pinkie Pie asked. Yeah, that's the one, Applejack confirmed. Shush! They're about to start, Rainbow Dash stated, waving her hoof at them. Indeed, the excitement was to start, for down on the field, Hayek was all but jumping with energy. May I have your attention, please? He started, for I have news that will make you roar with joy. At this, the audience started to rumble, as this was already an enjoyable event. What could possibly make it better? For those of you who went to these fairs before, you will recognize the two who are about to take the field. For those who are new, you're in for a treat, for we have two of the best fighters in all of Equestria here once more. They need no introduction, but I'll give them one anyway. Here, the older ponies got excited. They were back? This would definitely be one of the best tournaments they've been to. Who are they talking about? Twilight Sparkle asked. Shoot if I know, Applejack said. I'm as clueless as you, Rainbow Dash stated. First, we have the knight with the strength of 10 ponies, wielding a 2-hoofed sword. No pony can knock him down, for this giant can't be stopped. Dubbed the Juggernaut, by all he's faced, he has yet to reveal who he really is. Give him a round of applause. The stadium shook as each pony pounded their hooves as a large pony decked out completely in plate armor, plate mail, walked out, with a sword as long as himself strapped across his back. Also returning is the rogue, unequaled in speed. His weapon of choice is actually weapons. That's right. He wields 2, not 1, but 2 short swords. But this feat is only improved upon by the fact that he can't be hit. That's right. This pony has never been hit. Also choosing to remain nameless, he has been dubbed Quicksilver. Here, a pony entered the field, face covered with a hood and wrappings, adorned everywhere else in chainmail. Wow, those two must be tough if they can even wear that in this heat, Rainbow Dash said. Suddenly, another pony ran up to Hayek and whispered something in his ear. Hayek started sputtering, the crowd hearing, Really, Keynes? Our captain of... After minutes of babbling, Keynes ran off the field, and Hayek turned to the crowd and announced, It just gets better and better, folks. It turns out that we have a final entrant into this contest. He is one of the captains of the Royal Guard, a master of the sword and shield style. Give a round of applause for Shining Armor! Hearing this, Twilight Sparkle's jaw dropped, leading to the inevitable question of, Do you know that guy? for all her friends. Uh-huh, she said. Well, don't hold the details to yourself. Rarity started. Spill the information on that good-looking stallion. Blinking, Twilight merely stated, My brother. Hearing this, Pinkie Pie broke out laughing and said, What is with you and our friends' brothers, Rarity? Huffing, Rarity merely turned to watch the tournament.